Now, I wasn't expecting that much from the Gaslight District from Glitch Productions because I wasn't sure what do I actually expect. I wasn't expecting Glitch Production would give me sort of a anime, sort of Western aspire, sort of different twist of its own art style. And I think that is basically the best way to describe the whole pilot because it's something that honestly, when you hear the name, my mind did went sort of anime. Yeah, I wasn't sure to actually watch the first pilot. And you know what? It was. It actually was pretty good. But at the same time, what type of anime was sort of inspired about this specific pilot? Well, if you're old otaku, you know this sort of art style they use, or at least that sort of choppiness or speed is from part of that late or early 90s or early 2000s. Think fully coolly. They feel they got inspired a lot about that specific sort of project because you have moments of madness, that sort of quick draw madness because try and explain sort of the situation because it does throw you in everything because you don't know what's happening because this sort of gang called the Dead Smile no the Smiling Death Gang, there we go, and you do follow of all these four family members who are this specific gang would be Malachi Hill, Breadhead, Ken, and Mal, if I'm correct. All four of them are basically chasing someone, but this one person's sort of know the secret of their family, specifically a medical. We don't know, little by little they drop information. That information you wasn't really expecting because how everything was sort of explained about this world. There's sort of two sides of it. One is the earth that all the zombie lives, and the one in the heaven that all the angels live. But there is one major secret. There is sort of a egg that is basically a human. When the egg hatches, basically have new world order. Everything will change around them. Living will be consist once again, at least in theory, because everyone believes the egg is not hatched. But the true secret is there actually had been a human right in front of them that would be Mel. And this is the reason why the gang is chasing one specific member because they know the secret. They accidentally saw Melancholy bleed like an anime character. Gets too horny and the nose bleed. Once again, very old anime tropes. But that being said, that was sort of interesting because the technique they shoot him and you realize death is not really exist in this world. That people cannot die. And this is sort of hard to keep something like this a secret because the only way to get rid of a body or someone not spill the secret is basically drowning them in the sea. But that's the problem. Sooner or later, the body would rise up to the sea and finally go back to land and actually once more repeat the process, trying to figure out how to shut the person up while telling the secret. And that itself is a very interesting take about this whole show because honestly, I wasn't expecting much, but it kind of blew my mind how interesting, fascinating, and top of all this, how artistic, well made this is. In fact, I have to describe the whole art style feels so much cinematic, sort of kind of art style. I mean, it feels this pilot should be belong into the theaters, not on YouTube, because how much love and dedication and art they actually put in this sort of art stuff, especially that sort of kind of early 2000s kind of radical sort of style that is really good. It sort of surprised me that how much it caught me by surprise. Of course, before I continue on, my name is Rachel. I like to talk about animation, not just animation, the reviews, first impressions, cartoon theories, and sometimes, if I have some spare time, cartoon breaking news. Of course, this is the first time on my channel. You'd like to help my channel, just put a like, comment, and subscribe. That's the only thing you do. If not, that's fine. With you, thank you. Because of you, I'm getting close to my main goal of 2,000 subscribers. And yes, I'm getting close every single day of people like you. People who like, comment, and share. And FYI, I do apologize. The audio sounds a little weird because I have to move a different location to record my videos, and it feels sort of echoey. I do apologize. Hopefully, it's just me 1 2 videos, and that's it. After that, let's talk about this Pacific pilot from Glitch Productions. Now, I have to say one specific thing. I really enjoy this palette. It's very unique, refreshing. It feels like Tim Burton had an idea, but he wanted to do sort of anime inspired, but uses CGI. I thought it feels something like that, in other words, but done pretty well. And of course, they have so much lore, but I find one thing completely fascinating. They use a very simple sort of storytelling because at the very beginning, the whole gang tend to stop one person. They kind of succeeded, but they still have that one problem. We could do with Melancholy that people still believe she could be human because she's pretending to be one of them. But Melancholy have a sort of a genius idea. Why not go to heaven, steal an egg, and break it in front of everybody just to clarify she's actually one of them, not human. And that was sold the whole plan. But the only problem is the head gang leader, or aka Melancholy's father, that he did not like the idea. Ken just despised the idea. In fact, if you've seen a lot of gangster films or documentary of gangsters, then one of the tropes of that is the father doesn't want their daughter or son to join the gang. But the whole point of the mission is Melancholy wants to join, and he does this, it proves to the gang she allowed to be in the gang. But the only problem is she technically can't because she actually technically can't die. Everybody cannot die. They just feel pain. In fact, the whole world feels like they're underworld. Like they're punishing themselves because they did something wrong. The only problem is they're a very small area, so they can't go anywhere. If you hate someone, you gotta meet them again and again, especially what type of job you do. You have to sort of face them. But I love at the top of all this whole pilot builds on the conversation but doesn't tell you the whole story. In the very beginning of this myth, a legend of this angel egg becoming brand new human could change the whole basically area they live, rebirth the humanity in other words. But this is a problem that nobody wants that. They want it to stay the same. The sort of scummy, ruin, you won't survive if you're not strong enough to mentality. But I love it even more. That sort of myth sort of kind of have problems with the gang because of Melancholy. She wants to be one of them so badly, but at the same time, she doesn't know the whole truth. In fact, all four gang members has his own sort of secret, like Melancholy being human. Can could actually have the secret that how he helped Melancholy get out of the heaven and became her daughter. We don't know why she became her daughter. It just sort of happened, but it have sort of layers that something happened in heaven that he reason why he agrees to do the mission. And that's to help her daughter to join the gang. That he need to do something very specific. Is that sort of talk to someone and destroy the evidence. We don't know what it was, but that's what sort of the fascination of it. We were curious who he was talking to and why he decided to finish him off. Even that, the only way maybe to finish someone off is basically eating their brains, at least for right now. Honestly, I don't know. You also have Mel, the sort of gooey zombie that he has his own issues that he sort of hate himself or hate himself or hate the world, but he doesn't know how to deal with it. He sort of have anger issues. He also had Redhead that he is not the smartest person in the whole team. He is sort of the muscle, but that's all we know. We don't know why he has a bread in the head because he's the only one who sort of stands out with Melancholy being human and he just being a loaf of bread. It has a lot of questions, but that's sort of the whole point of the pilot. Having so many questions sort of kept secrets. Secrets that should not good idea to reveal. But not just them, the underworld. It's heaven itself. Heaven itself has some secrets, some regulations, sort of almost a military way of regulating everything that it feels kind of chilling, but you don't know what. And that's what sort of this project does grab your attention. How refreshing, unique. You said it before, but how it's done this sort of erratic way does grab your attention. Of course, I do believe not a lot of people will maybe like this because it is very erratic. If you like, for example, Fully Cooley, the original one, the first run, you probably like this. It's not nothing about sexuality. It's just sort of the editing, sort of erratic way that could be really annoying or really enjoyable, depends on you, and sort of not telling you what is going on. It's just you have to listen to the conversation, how one character snaps, one character just sort of quiet. In fact, you actually have to focus of the main two relationships of the whole pilot will be Melancholy and Kent, how both of them react to each other, like how the daughter wants to be appreciated by the father, be accepted in the gang, and the father doesn't want this. She tries everything to protect her, to make her understand you do not want this life. You are better at this. But what's more, a father and daughter or father or son has different opinions what direction have their own life, in other words. But we don't know how this happened, how the gang joined, how they know it kind of a male is kind of human. I wasn't sure Brickhead or Matt knows Melancholy is human or not. It's sort of your own interpretation. Yeah, I think that's why I really enjoy it. It's just sort of that great ideas just read it yourself. You have to like rewatch it more than once to appreciate or understand what it's trying to do or say. Of course, it doesn't hold your hand, just reinterpret whatever you can. For me, I really enjoyed it, the aesthetic, the idea, but at the same time, there had been quite a few indies doing something similar, but this one had an aesthetic of angels and demons, or in this case, zombies. But to see what happens in the near future, if they get a second episode or relist for a whole series, depends how many people react to it. But I don't know you, I did enjoy it. Hopefully they do develop a little bit more. Hopefully at least have one season in 10 episodes because this type of series usually you just need 10 or 12 episodes and that's it. You don't need that much. But how everything goes is just so interesting. The interesting thing about this type of series is attempted not to answer everything, just leave your own interpretation because it leave a more better impact. Even that you do explain most of it, you kind of ruin the surprise, or they maybe cannot one up themselves what the viewers think of their own imagination, and that's usually the difficult thing to do with this type of projects. But you don't know can you one up it. In other words, all of that I really can't say much. I did like our main lead, how she's sort of like a tomboy who wants to become one of the gang. She is charming. Also, her father, how he doesn't want her to be in the gang. But I love that Pacific relationship. You don't know why the father act this way. It's all about your interpretation, or they hopefully get a whole series of this. I don't know you. Hopefully I do. How you thought about it? Do you enjoy it? Do you hate it? Tell me down below. Let me know. I got nothing else to say. Just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.